Good morning, everyone. It is February 15th, the official start of Lent. So I hope you have thrown out all that candy and started repenting, you sinners. Just kidding. It's a joke, people. Anywho, uh, I may or may not have had a dinner of just a Reese's egg because all the hearts were gone. I am just upset. Because seriously, I wanted one of those eggs. Oh, well, or one of those hearts, but there's always next year, and I think with the rousing success that Reese's has had, they will definitely come back for another year. Welcome, Cool Gamer, and hopefully this is going out live with, Rumble. Everything looks like it's going well, but, we never know, as per usual. It's always a crapshoot. Our first story today is a heroic dad who helped tackle the alleged Kansas City Chief parade idiot, and he speaks out. And, finally, we're giving people some credit. We're not giving these yahoos any attention, the morons who are trying to disrupt what could just be a family thing. We're we're giving the heroes that stopped it more recognition, which thank goodness. I mean, although I think for other reasons, the media isn't really stating what is going on with the whole thing, but that's just me. I know that Adam Montgomery is on. I know they are wrapping up that trial. So if everyone is on the replay crew, totally get that. Hello, Vale Hammer Media. I hope you're having a great time back from your vacation and that the office has not gone crazy without you, which generally seems to happen if I take a day off, only it's my house. Good morning, Becca Lynn. The Heroics Kansas City Chief fan who helped stop one of the alleged shooters at the team's Super Bowl parade Wednesday tackled the man to the ground without stopping to think, and his wife grabbed the force multiplier. Trey Fitter heard someone shout, "Get him," seconds before he saw the flash of white speeding through a panicked crowd of revelers who were ducking for cover after Freedom Sing Freedom Seed sounds rang out. Quote, "My brain tells me that must just be him," Fitter said to the Post hours after the shooting that left one person not alive and 22 injured. I literally remember when I was tackling him, I sure hope this is who they were yelling at me to get because I just went boom. I don't recall seeing him coming. The man was one of 3 people arrested for the terror and chaos. Can we now all admit that crime is cray cray? Can we now all admit it, or do we still have to lie and say this was an isolated incident that never happened? Christine, good morning. Good morning. Uh, In a now viral video, Filter can be seen leaping on the fleeing man and dragging him to the ground, preventing him from sprinting into a sea of confused and terrified attendees. One of the suspected men quickly wriggled free, but was immediately tackled by a second Chiefs fan who somersaulted in the dirt with the man in a desperate attempt to keep him at bay. That's when Filter jumped on into the fray and began pummeling the alleged gunman's ribs. Some was getting a civil case. While his wife Casey lunged for the firearm that the fleeing man had dropped during the struggle. Filter believes the weapon was a long, scary variety. But police would not confirm that when they asked the Post. Well, what would the police know about things? From what I've seen from the Delphi and Sadie interrogations, they aren't the finders of any sort of evidence. I may be a little jaded this morning. But congratulations. Now, I do know that there is another father that also tackled a man, another armed person that is believed to have been involved in this incident. And I do want to get that interview out because I think this would make a great thing for my mama's den or ladies' lounge, sort of the view that doesn't suck. Because I really think that we need to start highlighting how principals, how teachers, how these We have these men who are out here and are willing to tackle people without shields. Again, that's a shade on you, Uvalde people, and I'm sorry I'm so spicy this morning. No idea why. Uh, so they did the police can't be found. I don't know if I knocked him out or I tackled him or what, but I'd squeezed him so hard he might have passed out all the time for all I know. I just started racking his ribs, Filter recalled. The second chief fan, who Filtered said was a complete stranger, delivered several blows to the alleged assailant's face, which Filter said he never got a chance to see. Bystanders were screaming that the man had a weapon, and not knowing that his wife had already neutralized the threat, he continued to look for the firearm on the man. I was just yelling, F your force multiplier. I was hitting him in the ribs. It was great, America stuff. Sir, you're gonna be on a list now. You realize this. Not for having done something heroic, but I'm sure our wonderful FBI handlers would like to talk to you about, your America thoughts. Uh, Filter stood up to a round of applause and looked for his two sons and plainly said, "Get your mother. We're getting the F out of here." The family who skipped a day of school and work to celebrate their family favorite team had no idea how serious the situation had been until after they began their 3-hour ride home back to Wichita. At least one person identified by loved ones as of mother of two, Lisa Lopez Galvin, was killed in the shooting and 22 others were injured, including 9 children. Filter, his wife Cassie, and their 2 sons, 12 and 15, were leaving the celebration when the gunfire erupted. The father said he first thought someone had set off firecrackers. One of his boys asked if it could have been gunshots, to which the asphalt company owner responded, "I highly doubt it." I need that dumpster defenders, "I doubt it," right here. The reason I said that is because there was a military presence on top of the building above us with a 50 cal machine force multiplier, and they were obviously capable of using it. I felt everyone was pretty safe, I would say, Filter said. Then it was almost like a mouse is loose in the house and everyone is jumping. Look, if a mouse is loose, we are employing flamethrowers at this house. That's why we got the cats, who seem to be on the Garfield squad and half seem to be on the "we'll do our job" squad. Filter humbly danced around the praise he received and instead commended his fellow Kansas City Chiefs fan whom he worked in tandem with to tackle the alleged gunman. He also raved about his pride for his wife of 20 years who grabbed the force multiplier long gun style before the man could cause more bloodshed. Quote, "I literally just wanted to get some good points in my kids. I felt bad for taking them out of school, but it's a unique situation. We're in Kansas. Let's go to this thing. We went last year. I just wanted some dad points, but I'm really glad we're not in the other boat that those people are in," Filter said. Police have not yet revealed a motivation for the shooting or any details about the alleged gunmen. And this just fires me up because look, these guys, if you saw as this was breaking, I was on stream with you guys and I was seeing the amount of not only National Guard it looked like, but you had state police, local police, every other kind of police people there. And it was local citizens, and I do like that. And they are not he's being humble and he is just praising other people. And, you know, in your desire to want to spin narratives about how terrible every dude guy is, you forget that there's guys like this out there, and this is more the standard than the exception. Most guys just want to Fry, stop with your OnlyFans page. I haven't even gotten that set up. It's Only Pets. What are you eating, Fry? Is that a Lego? Do you do you like this I am But look, he goes straight into surrender mode. I am French. I am French. No. Whatever that was, no. And to the parent who handed out slime yesterday to my boy's class, for the love of all that is holy, why? Why would you do why would you give slime out? This is a terrible idea. Any hoozle. Okie dokie. Plush Wars. Do you all want a Warren Buffett squishmallow? It's it's a limited edition and he's got an orange sickle. He actually kind of looks like a really cute Bernie Sanders with a popsicle and or Joe Biden. So I mean, he could be whoever you want him to be. Apparently, the knives are out in the plush toy business. Build-A-Bear and the makers of Squishmallow are facing off in federal court. This is the story that needs to be told, y'all. Kelly Toys and its Berkshire Hathaway controlled parent company Jazzwares have sued Build-A-Bear, saying its new Skooskers toys copy the look and feel of their mega popular Squishmallows products. If you guys have any children alive right now currently, Squishmallows are a thing. They're an expensive thing, and Fry loves them. So the Skooskers line, which Build-A-Bear began selling last month, has the same distinctive trade dress of Squishmallows. A complaint filed Monday says, pointing to similarities in shape, face style, coloring, and fabric. But is it 25% different? Because I think that's all you need to do to skirt copyrights. Not a lawyer. Yes. Dude guy. I've never learned about the birds and the bees. Otherwise, I may have learned that girls aren't as bad. They're worse, so very much worse. We can be a little bit of a pain sometimes. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, comparing Squishmallow's original products to Build-A-Bear's copycat designs speak volumes. Moez Kaba, an attorney representing Kelly Toys and Jazzware, said in a statement, the companies will vigorously defend their intellectual property. There you go. Well, I'm so glad that Squishmallows has, taken to court to right this injustice. In other news, I didn't get this in time for Valentine's Day, but I mean, who hasn't loved the sort of cringy weirdness of Luke and Leia's relationship in Star Wars? Well, I dated my half brother in high school, but it's not my fault. I was lied to about my DNA. I don't know if this is going to be a meet cute for your children someday. A Connecticut woman is speaking out after she learned she unknowingly dated her half brother in high school years after being left in the dark regarding the true identity of her biological father. You think your mom would come in and tell you maybe just a little bit before she got mutant grandchildren. I'm just saying. And I know that's not how genetics and inbreeding works, but come on. Victoria Hill, 39, recently made the gut-wrenching discovery after it was revealed that her mother had been wrongfully artificially inseminated by a fertility doctor, Burton Cadwell, allegedly without consent, CNN reported. After Hill mustered up the courage to tell close friends, including her former partner, in unwitting Luke and Leia, relation dateship sort of ways, the whole sordid story, the unman name, whose mother allegedly had been treated by Caldwell as well, took a DNA test. You're my sister, he wrote to Hill. Cadwell is now said to be responsible for at least 22 children who, like Hill, had no idea of their true heritage, according to the network. I was traumatized by this, Hill told CNN. Now I'm looking up pictures of people thinking, well, if he could be my sibling, anyone could be my sibling. That This was the first time where it's been a confirmed case of someone actually dating someone being, um, well, doing the normal relation date ship stuff you do with people, uh, with their half sibling. Indiana University law professor and fertility fraud expert Jody Madeira told CNN lawsuits against fertility fraud are few and far between in the US. The lack of a legal groundwork that has been an obstacle for Janine Pearson, another of Caldwell's biological children, who is currently trying to take him to court, according to CNN. No worries, Beckelin. You are doing yeoman's work even trying to have 2 things posted or 2 things going at once. I can barely multitask, and I think I should hand in my woman card. I really do. So you are fine. Have a great day. It shouldn't just be, the Wild West out there. These doctors can do whatever it is that they want, she said. Pearson, who was floored to learn in 2022 she has so many siblings from Caldwell, also described allegedly sick behavior from her biological father. Hello, hey Joe. Quote, he was not in any way apologetic, she said, adding Caldwell admitted he, quote, never gave it a thought that he should have, that there would be so many children, and that it would have any kind of impact on us. What a gross, disgusting human being. Pearson remembers the doctor being exceptionally curious about her lineage and intellect. One of the things that has always bothered me is that he asked me how many grandchildren he had, she asked. And he was very curious about my scholastic achievements and what I had made of myself, like how intelligent was I basically. What a gross, disgusting sir. We have an island for you. It does have a beach view. There are some slinky though, squirmy inhabitants, but I'm sure you'll get along with them because you seem to be a snake yourself. Fortunately for victims, modern DNA testing sites such as 23andMe are putting an end to fertility fraud, said Julia T. Woodward. Okay, don't give your DNA to companies and the government unless you're forced to by a warrant. Just gonna throw out my personal thoughts there, but okay. But I am reliably told that my parents had me the natural way or I was dropped off from space aliens. So I might not be obliged to do either. A clinical psychologist and OBGYN professor at Duke University Health System. To my knowledge, the majority of fertility fraud cases took place before 2000, Woodward said. I think it's highly unlikely that any person would engage in such practices today, so this part of the landscape has improved significantly. Well, there you go. Silver lining. We're pretty sure you won't date your, half siblings anymore. Not sure that's the first advertisement or slogan I would go with on as 2023 and Me, but you might have some niche market ability that you can maybe target those ads. A Ferris storm uncovered a mysterious shipwreck. Now another could destroy it. A mysterious shipwreck suddenly appeared on the shores of Newfoundland coastal community last month, believed to have been dislodged from the seabed by a fierce storm. Now, as a new storm barrels towards eastern Canada, the community is in a race against time to save it. The wreck, now lodged in shallow waters near the small town of Cape Ray, was discovered by a local resident on the morning of January the 20th. As soon as Sean Bath and Trevor Croft, both from Clean Harbors Initiative, heard about it, they grabbed their dive gear and rushed down to the beach. Swimming around the vessel, they attempted to secure it by slinging ropes across the 20 or 100-foot long frame. It's a pretty magical experience when you're the first two people to stand on a ship in probably 200 years, Croft told CNN. You know, that makes sense. Swab, I feel like I was probably left by aliens. counterbalancing the 2 things because I am the only non-sporty kid in my entire family, and, well, the rest of them are all athletic and graceful. I'm not. Mimsy, good morning. Both men had been working in the region for 2 years as part of a coastal cleanup operation in the wake of Hurricane Fiona, which slammed into Canada's Atlantic coast in 2022 and was one of the most powerful storms in the country's history. Bath believes it was Hurricane Fiona that initially dislodged the shipwreck from its resting place before slowly drifting toward the southwestern coastline of Newfoundland Island, pushed along by storms and sea swells. Now, as a new storm approaches, the community is scrambling to stop the vessel from being destroyed by the same elements that brought it to their shores. The Ray shipwreck is an example of a wider phenomenon, experts say, where climate change fueled storms are uncovering the world's underwater history but also destroying it. Well, there you go. The wreck's origin and age remain unknown. Croft said it may be French or a British ship, possibly from around 200 years ago, but until it comes out of the water, it's all guesswork. Lisa Briggs, an underwater archaeologist and research fellow at Cranfield University in UK, said the wreckage is significant for the community because it could be a clue as to how people arrived on the island. The likelihood is that people who are descendants of those who came on the ship are still alive and on the island today, she told CNN. But this preserved slice of local history is at risk. The tides are already weakening the vessel. While the wood is in good shape, it's held together with copper and brass pin. Every time a wave goes underneath that ship, it raises up a bit and those beams get looser and looser, Bath said. The approaching storm, forecasted to arrive on Wednesday, so yesterday, has raised the stakes even further. Forecasts suggest that wind gusts of 50 or 25 miles per hour around Cape Ray, with 20 with waves up to 20 feet high. The wreck could pretty much just disintegrate, Croft said. Without government funds to extract or preserve the wreck, Croft and Bath are trying to raise funds through a GoFundMe campaign. Their aim is to pull the wreck in from the water and preserve it, ultimately putting it on display as a tourist attraction for this remote community. It's a race of time, or it's a race against time, Croft said. Interesting. I thought they used the where you notch the wood. I think that's look, I don't know. I'm not a carpenterologist. I am not law and lumber, but I thought for boats you used notches and such. As not a person that's allowed to use power tools, no idea. Or even non-power tools. The phenomenon of storms dislodging shipwrecks from seabeds and from where they have been sometimes resting for centuries is not common, Briggs said, especially as storms become more intense and powerful. While that might sound like a good thing for underwater archaeologists, it often isn't, she added. When storms rip up the protective layers of sand off of shipwrecks, they cause irrevocable damage. It's it's much better if the archaeologists themselves are gently removing the sand in a controlled way, Briggs said. So there you go. Hopefully, we will get this ship up and I can go to Canada one day and see this cool shipwreck. But since, well, the federal government of Canada doesn't seem to be too worried about it, I don't know that they're going to get that much help from their GoFundMe. But if you feel compelled to help them save this wreck, obviously we're late for the weather, but you can donate there. A Japanese bakery is using AI to produce romance bread. Okay. Yeah, but it doesn't sound as dramatic if you don't say everything's a race against time. I mean, would Die Hard have been such a great movie if, Nakatomi Tower had 2 weeks to get the installments and the bearer bonds in? Probably not. So having to race against time does add a dramatic flair to it. What does love taste like? The answer depends on who you ask. Some say it's bittersweet like dark chocolate, others might describe it as deliciously decadent like a sweet cupcake. Well, one bakery chain in Japan is using technology to find out the answers. The country's oldest bakery, Kimireya, look, y'all know me and my saying words things, has teamed up with Japanese electronics company uh, NEC Corp to produce what it's called Ren AI Pan, which translates to AI romance bread. Good morning, greedy bloke. Uh, NEC and Kimurea claim that the new offering, which comes in 5 flavors, captures the essence of the feelings many of us associate with being in love. Here's where things get fun. According to a statement issued by the two companies, NEC used its AI technology to analyze conversations from TV reality dating shows, as well as songs that reference fruit and sweets within their lyrics. Through its analysis, they identified 5 key feelings of romance: first encounter, first date, jealousy, heartbreak, and mutual love. Oh, crap. This is going to be terrible. The bakery then reportedly worked its magic to transform these feelings into various flavors of fluffy steamed bread. Want to snag a piece? The bread went on sale from February 1st, or went on sale from February 1st at supermarkets. I speak only English and I can't get this right. In Japan's Kanto area on the bakery's online store. As for what led to this unusual pairing, it seems both brands faced a similar challenge: how to increase their appeal among younger generations of Japanese people. Through market research, the bakery discovered a growing number of youth say they're not interested in pursuing romantic relationships. Despite this trend, there is still a strong desire among young people to go on a date, fall in love, and end up with a partner. Recognizing this gap, the company decided to create AI Love Bread, which sounds like either a really psychedelic album or something untoward and tawdry, but, you could take it either way. Which creates the flavors of romance to invoke the feelings of being in love when they eat it, in effect, inspiring them to inject some of those sensations into their personal lives. Uh, NEC said it utilized 2 AI technologies for the project: NEC Advanced Speech for converting speech into text, and NEC Data Enrichment for generating emotion scores from text data. Using this information, AI selected ingredients representing emotions associated with love. To get the material to work with, they conducted a conversational conversation analysis using 15 hours of extracted footage from a Japanese reality dating show called Today I Fell in Love. From there, AI converted the conversations into text, placing each one into 5 categories: fateful encounter, a date, jealousy, heartbreak, or mutual love. Then AI extracted the lyrics of approximately 350,000, no, not 300, 35,000 songs related to love and food from the Japanese database. The um, AI was then used to assign emotional scores to the conversations and lyrics to create a visual map that matches the different stages of love to specific foods and flavors. Can we just find out what the daggone flavors are so I know what I need to order? Fateful Encounter bread is flavored with cotton candy, which represents the sweet, airy emotions of the first twinges of love. Jealousy tastes like purple sweet potatoes, truffle oil, and raisins. Rounding out the other bread, First Date zings with citrus, mainly lime and orange peel, and Mutual Love is a sweet tart mix of honey, peach, and dragon fruit. Good morning, Jude. Even though these bread concepts were created by technology, there was still a need for human participation. Well, thank goodness we're still good for some stuff here. The selection of ingredients was done by AI, but our role was to make them into bread. One of the developers at the bakery said, "We paid attention to the colors used to express romantic emotions visually and then aimed for a vibrant and pop of appearance for the love bread." Again, love bread sounds like something that, well, was right after the White Album, to be honest with you. It sounds psychedelic to me. Um, it actually is a snake in his pants, and he's not happy to see you. Caught at a border with pythons in his pants, a New York City man was fined and sentenced to probation. A New York man who admitted to smuggling 3 Burmese pythons in his pants through a US Canadian border crossing was sentenced Wednesday to a year of probation and fined $5,000, federal prosecutors said. Good morning, Bobby Baloney. Calvin Batista, 38, crossed into northern New York with the snakes hidden on a bus from Montreal to New York City on July 15th, 2018. The young adult snakes were hidden in the inner thigh of his pants in a snake bag. I didn't know they were called a a snake bag. I didn't know there were snake bags. I had tied to the pants drawstring. They were discovered by US Borders and Customs Protection officers, according to court documents, and release from the US office of, attorney Carla B. Friedman. The Queen's residence purchased the snakes, which were worth more than $2,500 at a reptile store in Canada, according to the court documents. Importation of Burmese pythons is regulated by an international treaty and by US federal regulations listing them as, quote, "injurious to human beings." That's why they should definitely be right by your schmeckle. Flash fan, I am doing okay today. So, yes, the Burmese python is one of the world's largest snakes and is considered a vulnerable species in its native Asia and is invasive to Florida, where it threatens native animals. Batista's attorney had no comment. I don't know that there is anything that you can really say, like, "Look, my client's just a moron, but, call me crazy." In good news, well, that we found the kidnapped girl. A kidnapped girl from South Carolina found in Florida with a man from Wisconsin. Now, this is a story time I'll need. Yeah, that's the problem. We already have Burmese pythons. Fry, you are the most moving kid ever. Fry's like, "Nope, out of frame, as per usual." Yeah. Well, at least if he didn't say, and this would have been comedy gold, "No, I'm not happy to see you. There really is a snake in my pants or several." Now, I don't know because I would not be given the post of customs and border, person, but I would have let him possibly go free without the snakes. But that would have been, let me chuckle for a day. I'm kind of okay with things. A 13-year-old girl from South Carolina was found in Florida on Tuesday after she was allegedly kidnapped by a 35-year-old man from Wisconsin, authorities said. The young teenager was reported missing from her hometown of Simpsonville, South Carolina, after she was last seen at her residence on Sunday evening, according to the Greenville County Sheriff's Office, which described the girl as a quote unquote runaway in social media posts. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office in Florida Keys said it received the information that the girl's alleged captor, Tyler Michael Burlick of Mukwonago, Wisconsin, may be heading to the area. Both he and the girl were found by deputies inside a pickup truck in the parking lot of a Key Largo shopping center on early Tuesday, according to Monroe County Sheriff's Office. which said it has notified the Florida Department of Children and Families. Burlick was arrested and charged with kidnapping. He's being held without bond at the Monroe County Jail in Key West. According to online records, a date for his arraignment has not been set. Miami ABC affiliate WPLG reported that Burlick was awaiting extradition to South Carolina. Authorities said he had met the girl through quote unquote online chatting service and gaming app. So he was one of those that, "Hi, my name is Chris Hansen, didn't catch." According to WPLG, the FBI is leading the investigation into the incident. Because of course. I have been wanting to do this case, because I think that the father of the decedent is very, compelling, and this is such a terrible story, unfortunately. I know that there's a lot of eyes on Alaska right now because of the burgeoning terrible info that we're getting from the, serial killer case up there. But this is definitely a really sad case, and I wanted to talk to Vale about seeing if we have all of the footage from it, cleaning up the audio, and then going through it because this is a pretty sad case. But it's fairly compelling because of just the weirdness that went all into it. So, best friend sentenced for unaliving teenager at behest of basement dwelling catfisher who pretended to be a millionaire. So this story has all of the crazy in it. Murder victim Cynthia C.C. Hoffman, 19, believed that Denali Dakota Sky Bremer, 23, was her best friend. But now, more than 4 years after she was bound in duct tape and shot to death near a waterfall, that so called best friend received a virtual life sentence in an Alaskan court for carrying out the heinous act. According to her father, Cece Hoffman had a learning disability that kept her from being the best at academics, but she followed through and graduated in 2018 from Service High. After school, she and her sisters worked with their dad on job sites, measuring windows, churning concrete, and working hard. The weekend she disappeared, she was supposed to get some cash from her dad to go to the mall as a reward for helping him prepare a camper. She told her dad that she was on her way to get her portion of the money, but never did. While acknowledging the defendant's relative youth, Judge Andrew Pearson on Monday maintained that Bremer knew what she was doing and that this is not a quote unquote youthful indiscretion, according to the Alaskan Department of Law. Seeing video of CC duct tape on the ground of Thunderwood Fall on the banks of the Ukentna? Ukentna? Look, pretty sure I just said a bad word too, but in her final moments was one of the most difficult pieces of evidence I had to watch in this position. And of course, they taped it because they're jerks. Bremer had pleaded guilty to one count of murder in the first degree. The judge sentenced her to the maximum term of 99 years, none suspended, and determined her to be the worst offender. The court should find that Miss Bremer engaged in one of the most serious crimes that we have in Alaska. Prosecutor Patrick McKay Jr. said, she executed Cynthia Hoffman in a murder for hire plot. She conspired with a number of other individuals in and outside of Alaska, including juveniles, forever altering everyone's life. While she may not have pulled the trigger, this never would have happened if it weren't for Denali Bremer. Bremer and 5 other people were charged in connection to the incident, though 2 are being processed through juvenile courts. One of the adult defendants, Darren Schillmiller, 25, posed online as a guy named Tyler, offering Bremer $9 million to kidnap and kill one of her friends and set photographic proof. In actuality, however, Tyler the millionaire was broke, unemployed Indiana resident living in his grandparents' basement. Ah, I knew the Indiana connection would come in. He pleaded he pleaded guilty to one count of solicitation to commit murder in the first degree and also a federal charge of conspiracy to produce child grossness for asking Bremer to for gross pictures of young children. Peterson previously sentenced him to 99 years in prison with a possibility of parole after 45 years. Quote, "This was intentional, premeditated murder for hire," Peterson said at Schill Miller's sentencing. "You plotted with other co-defendants to kill someone you never met for no other reason other than the sheer thrill of controlling others and seeing it be done." The judge added that Schill Miller intentionally caused Hoffman's death for, quote, "power, for control, and for your fetishes." Anchorage Daily News reported, Caden McIntosh allegedly confessed to being the actual gunman. The case against him is set for trial. Caleb Leland pleaded guilty to murder. Authorities said he sent McIntosh and Bremer his car in exchange for, or he lent McIntosh and Bremer his car in exchange for $500,000. His sentence is set for June 10th, 2024. So, yeah, this is a crazy story. I've watched several kind of online people really discuss it, but this is just a terrible story. Basically, Denali, this chick was talking to this guy Tyler on the internet, and he was kind of courting her and said, "I'm a millionaire and I have all of the money, but I have some weird kind of things that I'm into. So, do you have a friend and I could front you all of this money to unalive them? I'm really into snuff films for." And why that wasn't the major red flag that she said, there are other Pokemon in the sea. No, Denali was like, "This is my person." And she found one of her most innocent, most defenseless friends and took care of that. But, I have this in my list. Thank you, Jude, for the, vote of confidence. I have this in my list. I am still hoping that this weekend I can get a good bit of the Groves trial done because I've only been talking about the Groves trial for a year and a half. So in my super, ability to get things done, I am trying to at least finish one project before I start another one because this is going to take a lot of actual reading and making sure I've got the names right, and I wanna make a chart and stuff. I also wanted to do a timeline, for Delphi, and as my skills are growing, but not quite up to the level of my idea level, it's taking me a little bit longer than I thought it was going to take, which is, not terrible. In Texas news, a girlfriend charged with the murder of a former Texas judge who died of F overdose. So there are many things, many growth opportunities that I have on my to-do list for my channel. I'm trying to work on making more coherent schedules and, content. So endeavoring to be better every day. Authorities in Texas have arrested the 35-year-old girlfriend of a former judge for allegedly supplying him with the non-legal street pharmaceuticals that were not prescribed by his doctor and or anesthetist. Well, anesthesiologist. Anesthetist would be who waxed his backside. That led to his overdose late last year. Cami Ludwig was taken into custody Monday and charged with the murder of 47-year-old former Associate Tarrant County Judge William Shane Nolan. The murder charge is a result of a novel interpretation of a new law that Governor Greg Abbott signed in June 2023 that went into effect on September 2023. You're right. I do have several things that I'm working on behind the scenes, guys, so I will try to keep those a little closer to my hat, but I don't own any case, so if other people have a different spin on it, that's totally okay. I and some people have more free time than I do, to be very honest, so they are able to get things done a lot quicker than I can. Uh, so let's see. The law was enacted to combat the thousands of Texans who die annually from fentanyl poisoning, but appeared primarily to target drug dealers who distribute the deadly suspect or substance. According to a news release from Grapevine, Texas Police Department, officers at 4:45 a.m. on November 20th, 2023, responded to a call regarding a deceased male, later identified as Nolan, at his residence. Ludwig had placed the initial 911 call and identified herself to the dispatcher as Nolan's girlfriend. Upon arriving at the scene, first responders said they'd found Nolan deceased in his bedroom with signs consistent of an opioid overdose. Authorities on the scene said they also recovered, quote, several additional pills from inside the home. Police teams with the Mid Cities Drug Task Force investigated the case. Investigators said they were able to get evidence showing that Ludwig had purchased the laced pills and supplied them to Nolan. Due to the evidence obtained in the course of investigation, an arrest warrant for murder was issued for Ludwig on February 9th. She turned herself over to authorities in Tarrant County on February 12th. According to a probable cause affidavit obtained by Law and Crime, when police and medical personnel responded to Nolan's home, Ludwig appeared to be, quote, extremely emotional as well as erratic in her behavior. Nolan's 9-year-old son was also in the home when his father was found passed away. Look, I get addictions, y'all. I get addictions. I do. But when you're a parent first. And I know that's not something that, addicts can logic out, but that's where I have a little bit of hard time with compassion because now this boy is is lost without his dad. And he had to be there during probably one of the most traumatic things a 9-year-old can see. An officer at the scene said they found one M-30 pill that was known to be laced with the deadly chemical on the stairs leading up to the bedroom, and multiple Xanax pills that had been strewn about the floor adjacent to the bed where Nolan was found. Uh, Colombian marching powder and other M-30 pills were also found inside the home, police said. Ludwig was initially arrested that evening and charged with possession of multiple controlled substances that were allegedly recovered from inside her purse. Forensic a forensic search of Ludwig's phone allegedly revealed that she had obtained the pills from a subject identified as Blue NT. She had also allegedly received a package from Louisiana containing an Apple iPhone box believed to be filled with non-legal street pharmaceuticals. A subsequent autopsy of Nolan determined that his cause of death was an overdose of non-legal street pharmaceuticals. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about this one. I feel like if they're not going why are they going after her and not Blue and T unless they are going after Blue and T and they're using this as a way to encourage her to flip on her alleged dealers. I don't know that I like the entire force of the state coming down on one person. I don't like this law being used by overzealous prosecutors in a way it wasn't intended to. Now, they seem like they were both struggling with their addiction. If he had passed away and she is not a former judge, would he be going to trial? I don't know that that would have happened, but that's just my opinion. I am not a lawful law, attorney. I did wanna show you guys one thing that our best friend and I hope that I'm not wrong to do this, but when I find something funny, I definitely wanna share it with you guys. Sal sent this to me, and okay, well, I can't play the song, but some absolute genius has been going through and taking little clips of the Derek Brook or Darrell Brooks trial. No, I can't. I'm still working on why Brave won't let me do, sound even with the thing, and I've got boosters up, but someone has gone through and they have made Darrell Brooks' trial bits into South Park, and his name is Linus Wallace. I have gone on and subscribed, but they are hilarious. I will try to drop a link go back and drop a link into it, um, the description, but these are hilarious. If you like South Park and you dislike Darrell Brooks with a passion of a thousand suns, watching him become South Parkerized and just go through the trial definitely renews my desire to definitely do a rewatch, but not soon, but also finding humor to go after these giant narcissists is just one of the best things I've found that stops people like him who feel like the world revolves around themselves and they've done nothing wrong. So, if you like South Park, if you like animation, he does take actual trial audio and South Parkerizes it, which I don't know how you do that, but that is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And of course, Sal found it first. So, I trade him articles about how, people became nudists, and he sends me Darrell Brooks South Park stuff. We are we are twins. We just don't know which one's eviler yet. We'll get back to you when the DNA test comes back. Anywho, that is morning newsy news for today. I will say I do not know about, nightly newsy news. I will try to put a community thing in. I am going in for, to my new doctor, and they wanna try a different kind of injection, since both of my legs are starting to kind of do the same CRPS thing. So, this doctor has experience. He's in one of the largest, hospitals and has experiences with CRPS patients. So, um, this is just step 1 in seeing if new things will help out, and can't lie and say I am probably a bit all over the place this morning. I am a little bit nervous about it, uh, just because of how terribly the spinal stimulator went. But, you know, I have a great group of people that I can come back here and Mr. Mo has everything set up that if I need to, work from my comfy bed area, I can go there. And for members and then for the public, 3 AM me went on a wig buying apparently bonanza. So we will be opening all the wigs that 3 AM me bought. Uh, and I'll probably have to get more wig hangers now that I look at it. 3 AM me definitely should not be allowed to do anything without consent with wide awake me. Mr. Mo agrees. So have a wonderful Thursday. I am sending you all on to Nicholas, but you can feel free to go wherever you are. I just know that he has something coming up with the Fannie Willis sort of court goings on and craziness there. So you can always reach your peak level of crazy just kind of in our own group. I know Baker's still doing Adam Montgomery, and we've got Nicholas doing the Fonnie Willis stuff. So there is just a panoply of crazy all around. Thank you guys for your support and have a wonderful day. Say something kind to yourself, say something kind to others. It's going to be a good day. Just having a positive attitude is half the journey sometimes. In fact, I probably won't be really nervous until they tell me Mr. Mo can't go back. That's usually how things go with me. And then I'm like, I'd rather not do this today. I think I'll go home. Anywho, bye guys.